Tana Capture is Tana's first mobile app, and today we're talking to Seb, one of Tana Capture's developers and designers. Seb, what is Tana Capture?
So Tana Capture is a mobile app that lets you capture ideas when you're on the go, on your phone. Ideas can be in different formats like text, video, audio, and the app automatically syncs them to your Tana workspace. And when they're in Tana, you can do incredibly powerful stuff with them. You can do transcription, tagging, you can send it to different parts of your work automatically. So it's a pretty powerful and neat little package.
Okay, great. What's an example of when Tana Capture is useful?
So I guess for a long time, doing serious work on a computer meant sitting down at the desk and typing, And a lot of the time, some of your greatest ideas happen when you're not at your desk, like when you're away from your desk, especially like if you're out hiking, you're walking, you're doing something, running, in the shower. And that's maybe when you're doing your best thinking, and having an app like Tana Capture lets you kind of record those ideas very quickly, but also have them part of your workflow immediately. So you're leaving out lots of processing steps later, because you can just put it straight in, you get it, like let's say an audio recording, you have it there as text and you can process it later.
Yep, and we've seen this in the community with some incredible workflows as people start to explore using Tana Capture and Tana together, finding dramatically new ways to work with their own information that not only improves efficiency, but ultimately can lead to new ideas that they wouldn't have had if not for these new processes. So yeah, very powerful. Let's now talk about the design process of Tana Capture. How did the team design Tana Capture?
Yeah, so we know that mobile is super important, both for us internally and for all of our users. So we've actually kind of been working on an iOS app for quite a long time. We've had a few prototypes out, but none of them really met sort of our expectations, and we weren't able to sort of deliver exactly what we wanted. So we spent quite a lot of time in Q1 building prototypes, figuring out like what are the requirements that we need, figuring a little bit out how the syncing mechanisms work, but also mainly like what are the types of input, like how do we want people to input, like different types. Do we want plain text? Do we want an interface that looks a little bit more like Tana? And we were primarily focused on text input, and then a share extension that lets you share things as well. We built a few prototypes of this and showed it to the rest of the team. And we kind of felt like we were getting somewhere, but we weren't getting there. We didn't really feel like we had like the thing that we wanted. And it's kind of hard because we'd been working hard on trying to figure out these like key elements, but that's kind of what it felt like. It just felt like lots of different elements. And the app felt the prototype of the app kind of felt like a little bit old school. So we had a bit of a moment where we're like, okay, so we're actually kind of running out of time here. And what happened was that I sat down with Asgeir, the design director, and we were kind of thinking like, okay, what if you didn't have this time constraint? Like what would we do? Like how would it be different? And then kind of pretty quickly came up with some ideas, and we thought, okay, we probably need more stuff in the app. Like it would be nice to be able to take photos, to be able to browse your photo library, and to be able to record audio straight from the app. And that's kind of where the idea of the home screen came from. And this kind of gave us a pretty clear direction of where we needed to go with the app. And it's basically how the app turned out. That's what it is today. It's like from that small design session. There was something kind of cool that happened during the design process, because right after this meeting with Asgeir, we had introduced kind of voice or audio recording directly into the app. And on Fridays, we do this kind of weekly show and tell. We do demos of different things we're working on, showing prototypes of features. So we were showing this new home screen, trying to get the whole team on board on this is the new direction for the Tana Capture app. And I can't remember which order it was, whether Grim was before us or after us, but he was basically showing us something he'd been working on for a while, which was the transcribe feature inside of Tana. And this was kind of a moment when we realized, okay, it was kind of good that it took such a long time, because we could see those two things fitting together really, really well. And Grim had already been experimenting with recording himself when he was on the go, then transcribing it in Tana afterwards. And now we had like a way to get that information in directly without having to upload anything, without having to move things around. So yeah, this is one of those things, you're working on some stuff and suddenly two things meet and you're like, okay, this is going to be pretty great.
Very nice to hear. So both in terms of the kind of the magical process of the team finding big ideas together, but then also just how important the search for user value is in terms of the design process at Tana. What about the app? Was there any design criteria you had in mind when you were building the app itself?
I think the kind of analog notebook has had quite a bit of influence on the design of the Tana Capture app. So I really like taking notes in a tiny book, but it's mainly because it kind of lets me stay in my thinking flow. I'm not losing ideas because of notifications or anything on my phone. I can just go straight into the book, write some stuff, and close it down. So it doesn't break my flow, and it also doesn't break the flow of the conversation or whatever I'm doing at the moment as much. So I think that influenced the Capture app quite a lot, and it's one of the reasons why we focused quite a lot on different modes of kind of entering into the input thing, different ways. So that's why we put a lot of focus into making the lock screen widgets and putting in quick actions, so you can sort of go straight into the writing mode or the audio record mode from whatever context you're in. One of the requirements for the app was that it was supposed to be super fast, and I guess like one of the metrics we used was how long does it take to get your notebook out of your pocket and start writing. It's like, okay, we want to be as fast as that at least. So yeah, that's why we focused a lot on performance and load times for the app as well. We're constantly building production builds when we're developing, building production builds to just make sure and timing the load time, cold start time, to make sure that it was where we wanted it to be.
All right, next one, Android. We released Tana Capture as an iOS-only app. What are the plans for Android?
Yeah, so Android is really important to us, and I think, which is kind of one of the things that led us to choose the technology we did to developing the app, which is a React Native app. Our initial plan was to release the app on both iOS and Android at the same time, but it ended up not being sort of feasible within the time frame that we had. So we decided to focus on iOS, and the primary reason for that is the biggest part of our users are on iOS at the moment, so we decided to kind of give it to most users first and get some feedback on that. And we're working on getting the Android version out now. It is already in internal testing. We're already testing it with some Tana users. Some of our test pilots are using it. And we're getting some feedback for that and hoping to get it out to the Google Play Store pretty soon. I can't promise any exact dates, but it's in the works.
Great news for Android, or soon to be great news for Android owners there, Seb. So great way to finish. Thanks very much for coming in to talk to us about Tana Capture. And let's actually finish off with this. On my walk this morning, I used Tana Capture to record some of the questions that I'd ask you today. I think there's one more in there. I'm going to send you that as a transcript. If you don't mind answering that on your walk home from the Oslo office tonight, that'd be a really nice way to finish.
Yeah, sure, man. I'll do that on my walk home later.
Perfect. Thank you.
Next thing we're going to focus on is being able to load super tags from your workspace into the Tana Capture app, so you can actually tag stuff at the point of capture, which should be really helpful to kind of let you process things more quickly and get it all in the right places. Sometimes you know exactly where you want it to go, so that's should be good. Okay, so well, it's been really nice chatting to you, Matt. I'm off home now, but yeah, this has been great. Looking forward to next time. I'll see you soon, man. Bye.